kinesiologists, teachers, coaches, and trainers. This is video number 2, an activity video for the Kinesiology Workbook by Professor Sims. In this video, I hope to accomplish corresponding exercises and activity that goes along with the Kinesiology Workbook. In several of those pages, you will see things such as the rubric scale, assessments and measurements of different exercises. So let's take a look and let's see what we have for the workbook and the activities for today. Remember, this is not as serious as video number 1. I'm gonna have some fun. Let's go! The goal of this video is to assist instructors, trainers, and fitness individuals on how to design and implement various exercise routines using the Kinesiology and Exercise Workbook. This activity video that you're about to see involves creative ideas for exercise routines, setting specific goals, pre-planning and organization, personal expectation of others, and excitement and achievable fitness goals for all individuals. And that's the reason why I did video 2. When doing this video, it is important that you work with this Kinesiology Workbook. The most important keys to this workbook and this exercise video 2 is that you must, throughout the entire semester, do testing. And the most important tests are the 4 tests. During the school semester, the instructor will choose a group of exercises to develop exercise routines. The workbook gives suggestions in areas of exercise, nutrition, weight loss, weight gain, cardiovascular programs, body tone, body mass, strength, and power. You will also find examples of exercise and nutrition charts, formulas, equations, and a host of other fitness and nutrition examples for all ages. In this workbook and along in this video, you will incorporate the 5 components of physical fitness and the FIT principle. They are used to measure and assess every 4 to 6 weeks, and that is extremely important. Each student must complete something called a pre-test, and this is always done with the instructor during the 1st or 2nd week. Testing periods should be conducted every 4 to 6 weeks. After the pre-testing period is complete, the instructor should focus on the improvements of the test scores. What that means is in between those 4 to 6 weeks, instructors should utilize different kinds of exercises that they used in this pre-test to make sure that students are focused in on these particular exercises so that the testing period every 4 to 6 weeks improves. Instructors should use exercise routines that include stretching, cardiovascular, and weight training. All exercise routines should relate to the exercises that are being chosen for the testing period. If the instructor uses the 1-mile test as an example, during weeks 2, 3, and 4, the instructor will do different kinds of cardiovascular exercises that are closely related to the 1-mile test. This will create a better 1-mile test score or test time during weeks 5 and 6 or whenever the next testing period is. You will find examples of this during the measurement and assessment on examples 5 and 6 on this slide. See measurements and assessments examples slides 5 and 6. So, the goal at the end of the semester is to enhance the results of the measurements and assessments for each individual by utilizing the 5 components of physical fitness and using the FIT principle. Instructors should definitely use the rubric scale. This is used during pre- and post-testing only. The Kinesiology Workbook does include the rubric scales examples, or you can look at slides 8 and number 9 in this presentation video, or look in the Kinesiology Workbook, pages 128, 129, and 130. The rubric scale is a very important tool during the semester for all instructors and coaches. It helps evaluate each individual, the class as a whole, but most of all, it definitely encourages, and it also is important for the instructors to see if they are truly doing what they're supposed to do with their classes. The rubric scale must have data collected from at least 3 pre-test exercises, and then a comparison of the same exercises for a post-testing period. When selecting your 3 pre-test fitness choices, the instructor should stay in the areas of the 5 components of physical fitness. For example, if you choose a cardiovascular exercise, use the mile run. B, endurance exercises or a strength exercise, and or use the sit and reach test. These are staying within the 5 components of the physical fitness. An example of this, once again, is choosing or taking a look at slides number 8 and number 9, or workbook pages 128, 129, and 130. When using their rubric scale, an instructor must create a grading scale. You can use the grading scale that's located in the workbook or on slides 8 and 9, or what you can do is create your own. The key is each exercise should have a numerical grading scale from 1 equaling poor, 2 below average, 3 average, 4 above average, and the best, 5 equaling excellent. It is the instructor's responsibility to create a number system for the 3 exercises that correspond to the grade of poor to excellent. At the end of the semester, the class and the instructor will calculate averages of each pre- and post-test scores and come up with the final average. So, how does the instructor see the evaluation? It is compiled by the class averages of the rubric scale. If the class final post-test score is higher than the pre-test average scores, the class made an improvement and the instructor did a great job from beginning until the end. If the final post scores are lower than the pre-test average scores, the instructor should work a little harder for better class test scores. I wanted to go over body composition, which is the 5th component of physical fitness. It is one of the areas that most instructors really don't use. Some do, but some don't. Instead of using a device, what I have done is in the workbook or on slide 11, you can utilize different kinds of calculations for male and female and measurements to go ahead and utilize body composition. Body composition and these measurements should be calculated every month to every 2 months to see if the body composition is improving. This body composition for males and females can be found on slides number 11 and 12 of this video. If we take a look at sample number 6, which is slide 13, using the FIT principle for cardiovascular exercise is a great component. Using chart number 1, which is a cardiovascular program, it can produce incredible results. If you take a look at FITNT, utilizing whatever days you want, you can go ahead and utilize your heart rate at 50 to 100%. You make those goals, but your students must stay within those areas every single time you exercise. Go ahead and place your time in and what type of cardio you would like to do based on these charts. Also, on sample number 7, you can use the FIT principle, also using muscle strength and or muscle strength and power using different kinds of free weights and machine weights. The Kinesiology workbook has different kinds of grading charts. So if you stay with things like push-ups and sit-ups, your grade charts are already present in your book. Take a look at sample number 4. And let us not forget our men and women athletes. Sports and competition, we are always looking for strength and conditioning, so I have included a variation of charts and information which are found on page 77 and 115. These charts mostly for competitive athletes, men and women, are used for the postseason of your competition, preseason, and in season. There are also specialized charts for conditioning, flexibility, power, strength, agility charts, and various other examples. These can be found on page 116 through 127 in the Kinesiology workbook. These charts can be used and replaced with exercises, agilities, and stretches for a specific sport. One of my favorite sections in the book is the Specialized Coaches Corner section on page 67. The reason why I love this so much is because I truly feel that our coaches need to be in better shape, male and females. This is not a knock on our coaches, but I truly believe that if we as coaches are helping our student athletes and students in our classroom be successful in health and fitness, we can do a better job too. So let's take a look at that. Success for all adults with busy schedules, it kind of works like this. New study shows for those who exercise, it brings about a positive move in several different kinds of directions. Suggestions about nutrition plans mixed into your exercise routine. Charts and exercise programs for quick workouts, in and out fitness routines, so coaches and or even teachers can work out just before or after or just before they go home for a quick workout routine and still get it in and still do exactly what they want within their schedule for today. We are using the FIT principle for these particular coaches and instructors. Frequency, how many days a week can you get it in? The intensity factor, how much time you have, and the type of exercises you do. These principles all are applied to people with busy schedules. So, here are some helpful hints for all instructors and some conclusive points. The exercises seen in this video are examples only. The instructors can use the workbook examples, add or subtract various exercises of their choice, so you don't have to use my examples or my exercise routines, but you can place them into the templates that I have. The workbook concentrates on a variation or variety of stretches from head to toe, muscle endurance exercises, strengthening exercises, aerobic and anaerobic cardiovascular activities. For overall success, the instructor should always measure and assess and record exercises using charts with scores, grades for results. They can always be seen throughout this workbook. If the instructor chooses to add different exercises, you must have new grading charts. They must be created in order to be properly assessed and measured for each individual. When creating your own grading charts, it is best to use numbers that compare to the national averages. The instructor also can add or subtract numbers based on overall physical ability of each individual. And lastly, when adding exercises, the instructor should choose exercises that correspond to the need of each individual, groups, or your team. This will create maximum test scores in some or all areas of fitness that are being tested. The workbook can be used in a gym setting, outside environment, or inside the classroom for question and answers, discussions, and short quizzes. In conclusion, the goal of this video is to help all individuals in the areas of physical fitness to create a complete balanced exercise routine using the 5 components of physical fitness and the FIT principle. It is important to understand that there are differences in everyone's height, weight, and body chemistry, so therefore everyone will have different kinds of results. We should not compare ourselves to others, but instead, fitness professionals should select physical routines that are suitable for each specific individual, group, or team sports. This will create success for everyone. So let's get started. We always want to start with a 6-minute warm-up. I'm so excited about this. Come on. I usually start on like a treadmill, outside, the elliptical, a stationary bike, or maybe even the step mill. Sometimes even stadium stairs. Always using the 5 components of physical fitness. After my warm-up, I am always going to utilize some kind of flexibility and stretch, utilizing static stretching, dynamic stretching, and sometimes ballistic stretching. After the stretch period is over, I always utilize some kind of muscle endurance most of the time within my month period, and at least 1 or 2 days of some kind of muscular strength, which is very similar to the muscle endurance. It's just lowering the weight unless I am a competitive sport and I am competing and I need big time power. Then I lower those repetitions utilizing a pyramid method, sometimes in the areas of 5 to 2 or 3 reps. Adding, of course, more weight to get that low repetitions to create force and power for that competitive sport. If you are in a classroom setting, I do some kind of muscular endurance using high repetitions of anywhere between 10 to 15. And then if I utilize a day of muscular strength for a classroom setting, I only have them do something like 6 to 10s. Staying with the 5 components of physical fitness, cardiovascular exercise is always utilized. The key is that you have some days of anaerobic exercise and you also incorporate anaerobic exercise into the routine of the cardiovascular exercise program you are using. And of course, lastly, body composition, utilizing the equations that I mentioned earlier in this video. It is important to make sure that we all, as individual instructors, are creating success for all. If we have someone that can't keep up with the group, still allow them to do at their own pace to get something done. I'll give you an example. If I have a person that is not in shape, whether they're overweight or even if they're slim and their cardiovascular is just not in shape, I always allow them to do some kind of power walking, or if we're doing stair, let them at least walk the stairs halfway, or whatever I can do to create student success. When I am teaching exercise programs, when I use machines, I always start my classes off with using machines and we graduate slowly into the free weights. It is also important when doing free weights or machines that I use full range of motion. This helps develop and maintain flexibility, allows more muscle groups to be involved, and also improves the effectiveness of certain exercises. Strength training for competitive athletes, male and female, is very, very important. These charts are seen from page 79 to 115 in the Kinesiology workbook using something called the pyramid method. The pyramid method is nothing fancy. All it is starting off at high reps, and as you get further into the program and you get further into the season, you lower the repetition, you add on weight, and you exert force and power with more weight. And you pyramid up and down with your repetitions and your weight, whether you add or you subtract. But the strength training is so important. It helps with balance for athletes. The dumbbells or barbells help strengthen both sides of our bodies, and the super strong muscles, your chest, your quads, your back, and your glutes, and our core. These strong muscle groups assist us to support our body and joints, especially in competition. The body's core is so important. The center of all power and human strength originates from the core of the body. Abdominal muscular strength and endurance are essential for the core stability and back support. The body core consists of these muscle groups: your abdominals, your obliques, the side and lower rib cage, erectors of the lower back, your gluteals or your buttocks, the upper quadriceps, upper hamstrings, hip flexors, and your groin area. These must be trained. Cardiovascular exercise and routine. The benefits of cardiovascular can create a healthier person in weeks. Several different cardiovascular fitness stations should be used with any routine that an instructor chooses. The benefits are too great without these cardiovascular exercise routines. Replace your cardiovascular exercise into the weight training routines. Go ahead and incorporate cardio with weights. In other words, if you're going to do 3 or 4 machines, then go ahead and do the 3 or 4 machines with high repetitions. Go outside, run a lap, come back and do 4 or 5 other cardiovascular machines, and then add more weight training. Then you may do stadium steps, but the key is the cardiovascular is working our heart and our actual musculature system all at once. This benefit is so great and so powerful for the human body and for individuals. Aerobic versus anaerobic fitness routines. Aerobic is defined as a light to moderate activity that can be performed by extending periods of time utilizing oxygen. Anaerobic is defined as without oxygen, an intense physical exercise, so intense that it causes lactate to form. Examples of this would be an aerobic exercise would be a power walk or a light jog. An anaerobic example would be running up stadium stairs or running sprints or running a fast mile where your heart, of course, is beating so fast that you can barely breathe or the oxygen you can barely gasp for. This concludes video number 2, Kinesiology Workbook, Fitness and Exercise. I am hopeful that you gained some kind of knowledge on what you can do to add to your routines, to grasp more for a routine, or to just take whatever I have and use it for any individual that you would like. Hey, this is Professor Sims / ex-coach Jimmy Sims, James Sims, signing off. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, great evening, good afternoon, all those good things. Talk to you soon.